especially with somebody like Amanda Seales. The reason why they don't have the same problem with Amanda Seales that they have with Drake is the same reason they don't have a problem with J. Cole. Because them light-skinned Negroes stay in their place. That's why. That's why. They stay in their place. Which is funny because those type of Negroes, it doesn't matter who's in charge and it doesn't matter whose plantation it is. They always the house nigga. They went from being the house Negro for non-black people to being the house Negro for dark-skinned black people.
Hello everybody, Brown and Beige community here today, and today we have a very important topic to discuss. As you've seen by the intro video by the Honorable Angry Man, and shout out to him by the way, today we're going to be talking about a topic that doesn't really get talked about a lot in today's current social climate of the world. And yes, this is probably going to be one of my more controversial topics, but it needs to be discussed. Today we're going to be talking about modern day house ninjaism and how it affects light-skinned men today as we know it. Because light-skinned men, I'm sure we all know light-skinned men, the whole existence has been pretty much making everybody else's lives easier. If you don't believe me, just take a good look at YouTube, for instance. Light-skinned men have pretty much made a forte over uplifting just about everyone else but ourselves. If you look at the very vast majority of videos, light-skinned men are either in the black manosphere, some are in the Republican sphere, and it is just about every which way but what we should be doing, which is uplifting ourselves. And as Angry Man put it, the house and field slave parable still exists to this very day. Light-skinned men pretty much have built their existence on emasculating ourselves to make dark-skinned black men feel better about themselves. And I point no further than these light-skinned versus dark-skinned videos where light-skinned men are literally making themselves appear weaker to uplift dark-skinned black men. And regardless of how anybody tries to rephrase it, that is exactly what is happening. I know there's going to be people that are probably in this comment section that are going to be talking about, well, it's a joke. It's not to be taken serious. It's not something that should be taken lightly. Because we're in the era now where socially everything is accessible. Everybody can state their opinion, so we're stating ours. And I point no further than this Malcolm X parable. You have two types of Negro, the old type and the new type. The house Negro usually lived close to his master. He dressed like his master. He wore his master's secondhand clothes. He ate food that his master left on the table. That's pretty much what light-skinned men are doing right now in the black community. We're pretty much, as Kwame Brown stated best, the black community's crash dummy. We go on and take the full brunt of the attacks when we really shouldn't be. We have good food, the house Negro would say, yes, we have plenty of good food. The pastor said we have a fine home here. The house Negro said we have a fine home here. When the master would be sick, the house Negro identified so much with his master, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" His master's pain was his pain.
I was gonna have you call one at first. Now you gotta get rid of two of them and go ahead and reveal who you got your eye on. Okay, what's the reason you popped this balloon?
Your answers were great. Okay, honestly, probably just a little on the darker side.
Too dark for you?
Yeah, about it.
I mean, you got a preference, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She like,
Light skin.
me and Hucklepuck, like Brody. It's cool. I mean,
You said what?
bro, she like me and his complexion.
Oh, his color.
Yeah, I mean, she's beautiful. It's all good.
Okay. What's the reason you just popped your balloon, bro?
That colorism, cause I get picked on. I've been picked on for my color my whole life, so I don't really like that. But it's cool.
What's that?
Okay, all right. So this is the person you had your eye on. So
I did, but it's okay.
And then you remind me of my mama too. That's kind of weird. No, she looks like her, not like she old. She look real. But you look like we can be related type thing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
she said, nah, nigga, nah, nigga. Get your balloon back, nigga, nah, nigga. You know?
If that doesn't summarize what we're dealing with right now in terms of the black community, I don't know what will. There are countless upon countless examples of dark-skinned black people telling us, on one hand, that light-skinned black people are privileged that we have to acknowledge, but then in the same instance, telling us that we're still black. So I'm confused here. Where is this coming from? And it hurt him more for his master to be sick than for him to be sick himself. When the house started burning down, that type of Negro would fight harder to put the master's house fire out than the master himself would. We live in an era now where light-skinned black men are fighting for a community that dark-skinned black people themselves are not fighting their absolute hardest to keep up. If you don't believe me, let's take a good look at dark-skinned black men's dating preferences and the way they're conducting themselves in today's society. They are interracially dating at alarmingly high rates. They are killing each other in the black community at alarmingly high rates. And they're just dating just about every other group of women but themselves. But light-skinned men.
I don't know who told dark-skinned women that light-skinned niggas don't like y'all, but I would very much like to thank you for that. When I tell you my entire adult life, I have been cleaning up with the finest dark-skinned women. And I shit you not, when I approach them, they all say the same thing. I didn't even know you was looking at me. Bitch, are you kidding me? You finer than 3 motherfuckers over here. And eventually I always end up saying the same thing to them, and I don't care. I'll be like, you know what the best thing about your skin is? They be like, what? I'll be like, it's everywhere.
Will go on and say, oh, I don't want to breed myself out, and they get the darkest black woman they can find. That is what they talk about when they say fighting harder for the master's house than the master himself would. Light-skinned black men are fighting for a community that doesn't even respect us. You don't believe me? Let's just take a good look at even black women, for instance. Black women have been emasculating light-skinned men for years. And not many of them have came and defended us. There's some, but there's not a lot. And dark-skinned black men have egged this on and put the batteries in black women's back for years. I don't go by the exception. I go by the majority. And the very vast majority of black people as a whole have been very silent and very complacent. You know that word y'all like to use, complacency, or silence is complacency? Well, yes, y'all are very complacent here. Yeah, I love that saying, silence is complacency. Well, yes, you guys are very complacent. Yes, I'm pulling a page out of your book. You guys are very complacent when it comes to how emasculated light-skinned black men have been. And it's getting worse. Like, I've been talking about this for years. And yes, light-skinned men are emasculating themselves now more than ever. And black people as a whole have not really even called it out. It actually has been some of the people in this space that have really been in the forefront of fighting against this. And shout us out to them. I love it. This is where we need to be at if we ever want to move forward. And even with videos like this, you'll have a couple of light-skinned men that'll come on here and talk about how we're crazy for saying anything against this. But that's what I mean when I say modern day house ninjaism. Fighting harder for the master and his community more so than himself. We even see this in some Republican spaces with light-skinned men that are fighting harder for the Republican Party, another party that hasn't made any effort for our plight. Until this changes, we can't expect anything to change for light-skinned men. If we want to move forward in society, we need to start uplifting ourselves. Stop trying to make everything easier for every group but yourself. Fight for yourself. Fight for your image. Fight against this little oppressive, weakening image that has been created by the powers that be for a reason that not many of us really could even specify. Fight for your plight. But thanks for watching, guys, and peace out.